Now I want to talk about adjusting the carburetor. This is for all you guys out here that haven't done it and you're afraid of these things because you're going like, oh, it's a carburetor. I'm going to have to take it to a shop. They're going to charge me 80 bucks and they're going to have some retard in the fucking back room figure this out in about 2 seconds and charge you $100. First thing is when you start the bike and you give it throttle, right? Two things can happen. If you've got everything adjusted correctly where the slide is going to open, you're going to hear two sounds. It's a blah and a blah. They're very, very close, but they're two different things. If the bike idles okay, well, your idle jet is all right, which usually is. If you start to give it gas and it goes, you got to listen to it a long time to understand it. What it means is that the jet that is right down in that hole right there is not opening enough or lifting up its tapered end to let enough fuel into the engine, and so it starves it, and that's what makes the blah sound. Okay, that's one way of doing it. And one way to check is this. If you have the choke off, the choke is off right here. When this pin goes up, the choke is on. So you push down, choke goes on. That gives you extra air and extra gas. Off, on. If you have the choke open like this and your bike runs a little bit better, it means that you're adding more air, more fuel, and your stock jet or your stock needle is not giving your motor circuit enough fuel. So what we do is this. You want to go down to a Radio Shack and get yourself a set of forceps. Okay? Now back in the day when I wore younger man's clothes, in the 70s, we used to call this a wrist clip. That's the French word for it. You can buy these at any electronics store. They're really good for holding your spring and your the end of your throttle cable. But they're called forceps. Now, let's see what the forceps do. We get over here and we have our slide, which has a cutaway. If you'll notice on this slide right here, it has, and it's getting dark out here, so a little bit. Anyway, those numbers on this slide, you can buy different slides, and all the difference is their cutaway right here is at a different angle. It's just more for tuning your bike. All right. Then what we have is especially on the Coonies, they do a really good job. This falls in there, and that holds the needle in place right here, and it also holds a spring in place. What we're going to do now is this. Let's see if you can stay with me on this. This is very simple, okay? Don't get freaked out about these carburetors. They all work exactly the same. This is what's called a jet needle, or you call it a needle jet. It's kind of a two-way deal. Now I'm going to see if I can take this old shitty camera and really zoom in on the end of the jet. The jet comes with 5 different C-clamp adjustments. The C-clamp is that little tiny, that little tiny clamp on there. It's called a C-clip because it looks like a C. It's in the 3rd position, or I'm going to try to hold it steady, or the middle position. There are 5 positions for that clamp to go. The C-clamp sits on the base here, and depending on where the clamp is, it raises or lowers the needle. For instance, if I have the C-clamp right here, thing's got to be magnetic. Damn it. If I have the C-clamp right in the middle, It's only going to lift this jet so far, and you can see the tapering on it. There's actually 3 tapers on this jet. You can buy different jet needles. There is a, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little tiny number on the jet needle. You can order different jet needles with different taper sizes. What it gives you is different fuel at your low, medium, and high range. Well, not really high range, but anyway. Now I know this jet needle is not giving me enough fuel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this C-clamp right here, and I'm going to move it down either 1, or I'm going to move it down 2, all the way to the end. The 5th position. We'll call it the 5th. Alright? When I do that, the needle will naturally sit higher in the carburetor, and it will release more fuel, not potentially, but let me see how can I say this. It will release more fuel from the main jet right here into the Ventura bowl, which is or the Ventura or the driving circuit. This is real simple, easy to do. I was freaked out about it when I first started playing with it, and then I started playing with it and realized it's simple. It's very simple. They make millions of these carburetors. All it is an air fuel metering device. So now what I'm going to do is I know that I'm not getting enough fuel for this big motor. I'm going to raise the needle and see if it will give me a more potential larger fuel flow into the engine. Now, if it works a little bit, great. If it works at low and medium throttle, great. If it starts to go blah at full throttle, then you know that it's you're either running lean, not enough fuel, or you're over putting too much fuel in it. It takes a while to really learn what these things mean. Now this is an important video, so pay attention. This will save you a lot of money, because if you come to me with a bike and you didn't know what you were doing, I'd take you for every damn cent you had. If I was not the person I am, I'd say, oh God, you know, we're going to have to adjust the dual muffler bearing actuators that are right down here, and underneath here we're going to have to make sure all these screws right here are anatomically correct, and they've all got the right screws, and then they've got all these bolt heads are in here perfectly. So this is going to take at least an hour and a half. I mean, it's going to cost you $130 to do all this, and I'm just giving you a load of bullshit. It's so much bullshit you need wings to stay above it. Or you can do your own math and see what you can do. So, in order to test my theory, I'm going to take this clip off, and I'm going to move it up so I get more gas from the get-go. If that doesn't work, if that works better but it doesn't work, then what I have to do is go in and, where did I put those things at? These are main jets right here. These are main jets that came with the can. This deal up here. Every jet has a size for the size of the orifice, the hole. Now, what I will do is I'll get a bigger jet. When I get the bigger jet, I will take this clip and I will bring it back down to neutral, where it is right now, and I'll start over. It may take you 10, 20, 25 times to get your carburetor right, but that's the fun of these motors. If all of it was just like my Yamaha Zuma, you just turn the key and have fun. These, we're always looking for more horsepower. And this is the, okay, so anyway, these are some of my computer fans Frankie want to know about. And I've used these before, but I'm just seeing if I don't need them. Okay, that's what I'm going to do next.